Most Christians know about heaven. Most know about the tribulation. Most know about the second coming. But there is a period of 1,000 years between the second coming and eternity that most people have never studied carefully. A period so significant that Revelation 20 mentions it 6 times in 6 verses. The Millennium. 1,000 years of Christ reigning on earth, physically present, visibly ruling from Jerusalem, with the resurrected saints ruling alongside him, with Satan bound and unable to deceive, with the knowledge of God covering the earth as the waters cover the sea. This is not heaven, this is earth, but earth as it was always meant to be, before the fall, before the curse, restored and surpassed. And here is what most people miss about the millennium. It is not a footnote at the end of the prophetic sequence. It is the fulfillment of hundreds of Old Testament promises that God made to Israel and to the nations. Promises that cannot be spiritualized away without doing violence to the text. What exactly happens during the millennium? Who is there? What is the nature of Christ's reign? Why does it end? And why does it matter for how you live right now? Subscribe now and turn on the bell. New video every single day. Before any interpretation, let us go directly to the text. Because Revelation 20 is more specific about the millennium than most people realize. Revelation 20:1-6 describes 6 specific elements. First, Satan bound. An angel comes down from heaven with a key to the bottomless pit and a great chain. He seizes the dragon, the ancient serpent, the devil, Satan, and binds him for 1,000 years. Thrown into the pit, sealed, unable to deceive the nations anymore until the 1,000 years are finished. Second, the duration, 1,000 years, mentioned 6 times in 6 verses. The repetition is deliberate. The number is not symbolic, it is specific. Third, the first resurrection. The souls of those who had been beheaded for their testimony about Jesus, and those who had not worshipped the beast or received its mark. They came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. Fourth, the rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the second resurrection of the unrighteous, which precedes the great white throne judgment that we studied previously. Fifth, the reign of the saints. They will be priests of God and of Christ, and will reign with him for 1,000 years. Sixth, the blessing of the first resurrection. Over such the second death has no power. The most extraordinary promise. Participation in the millennium is participation in eternal security. And we arrive at the questions that most fascinate people. Who inhabits the millennium? And what does life there actually look like? The millennium has 3 distinct groups of inhabitants. The resurrected glorified saints. The church, raptured before the tribulation and now returning with Christ at the second coming. The Old Testament saints, resurrected at the second coming. The tribulation martyrs, resurrected at the start of the millennium. These have glorified immortal bodies, and like Christ's resurrection body, mortal survivors of the tribulation, those who survived the 7 years without taking the mark of the beast, and came through to the other side. These are physical human beings in natural bodies who will marry, have children, grow old, and die during the millennium. Their descendants, the children and grandchildren born during the 1,000 years in natural bodies, born into a world where Christ reigns visibly, where Satan is bound, where justice is perfect, born into conditions more favorable than any generation in human history. What does the world look like? Isaiah 65:20-25. No more an infant who lives but a few days, or an old man who does not fill out his days. They shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and eat their fruit. The wolf and the lamb shall graze together. The lion shall eat straw like the ox. Nature restored. Lifespans dramatically extended. Jerusalem as the global capital. Christ ruling with perfect justice. The knowledge of God filling the earth. And we arrive at the question that most surprises people. Why does the millennium end? And why does it end the way it does? After 1,000 years of perfect conditions, after 1,000 years of Christ ruling visibly, Satan bound, justice perfect, nature restored, Revelation 27:8 tells us something that defies human logic. Satan is released from his prison, and he goes out to deceive the nations, to gather them for battle. And they are as numerous as the sand of the sea. People born into the most favorable conditions in human history, who grew up knowing Christ is real, who lived under perfect justice, who never experienced the deception of Satan, still choose rebellion when given the opportunity. This is the final and most conclusive proof of the doctrine of original sin. The problem of humanity is not environment, it is not education, it is not exposure to good examples. It is the fallen nature of the human heart, which will choose rebellion even in paradise, even with full knowledge, even without demonic deception. The millennium answers the question that human beings have asked for millennia. What if we just had better conditions? What if we just had better leadership? What if evil were removed from the equation? The millennium gives humanity 1,000 years of perfect conditions, with perfect leadership and evil removed. And the human heart still rebels when given the choice. The solution was never better conditions. It was always regeneration, the new nature that only comes through faith in Christ. And we arrive at the question behind everything we studied today. The millennium is a future reality, but what it reveals about human nature and about the solution God provided is a present truth. The millennium proves that the problem was never outside of you. The problem is not your circumstances, not your environment, not the people around you, not the systems you live within. The same fallen nature that will choose rebellion in a perfect millennium is the same nature that drives the patterns we struggle with today. The selfishness, the pride, the tendency to make ourselves the center of every story. And the solution the millennium points toward, regeneration, new nature, the transformation that only comes from the inside out, is available right now. Not after the tribulation, not after the second coming, right now, through faith in Christ. Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Transformed, not improved, not fixed, transformed. The millennium will demonstrate on a global scale what is already available to every individual right now, the possibility of a nature that has been changed from the inside. Not perfect, but genuinely different. And that difference, available today, before any of the prophetic events, is the most significant change any human being can experience. Share this video with someone who needs to see it. New video tomorrow. Subscribe and hit the bell. Tell us in the comments, what aspect of the millennium surprises you most?